Senator Clark Hensley's spotless public image shattered the moment his face appeared in the grainy bodycam footage, kneeling beside a dying man in a dark warehouse with a briefcase full of cash at his side. The night was cold and quiet in the small town of Ashford, the kind of stillness that made every sound seem louder than it should be. Street lights buzzed faintly, casting pale yellow pools of light that left the sidewalks cloaked in long, wavering shadows. The wind carried the faint smell of salt from the nearby docks, mixing with the sharper scent of rust from the old warehouses that line the waterfront. At 11:47 p.m., a lone patrol car rolled slowly down Dockside Avenue, its headlights sweeping over boarded-up windows and graffiti-covered walls. The vehicle came to a stop beside a weathered building with a dented metal door barely hanging on its hinges. The officer stepped out, his boots crunching on gravel and shards of broken glass scattered across the ground. His body camera recorded each movement, the slight tilt of his head as he listened, the soft click of his flashlight as it cut a beam through the darkness. The building's interior loomed ahead, silent except for the occasional drip of water somewhere inside. He pushed the door open, its rusted hinges screaming into the night, and stepped into a room that smelled faintly of mold and something metallic. The flashlight beam darted across the floor, catching sight of overturned tables, splintered chairs, and shattered bottles glinting like jagged teeth. The walls were streaked with grime, and the air felt heavy, as though it had been trapped for years. In the corner, beneath the shadow of a leaning shelf, something shifted just barely. The officer's pace slowed, his light moving toward the source. The beam landed on a figure lying face down, one arm bent awkwardly beneath the body. The stillness of the form was unsettling, but there was a faint rise and fall in the chest, slow and uneven. The officer crouched down, scanning the surroundings before calling in his location over the radio. His voice was steady, but the bodycam caught the faint tension in his breathing. He reached for the figure's shoulder, about to turn the person over, when a faint sound echoed from deeper in the warehouse. Footsteps, deliberate and slow. The officer's head snapped up, the flashlight sweeping toward the sound, but the beam caught only shadows. A faint metallic clink followed, and then, without warning, the bodycam feed flickered. The image froze for less than a second before dissolving into static, erasing whatever happened next. The official report released the next day painted a simple, almost routine picture. According to the statement, the officer had found a homeless man who appeared to have overdosed, with no signs of foul play. It was brief, clinical, and designed to leave no room for speculation. Yet inside the Ashford Police Department, quiet conversations told a very different story. Several officers whispered that the victim had been carrying identification that didn't match the official description. A laminated driver's license was said to bear the name and photograph of Mark Turner, a political aide well known in the office of Senator Clark Hensley. Turner had not been reported missing, but some officers claimed they had seen him days earlier, walking through town with a black leather briefcase clutched tightly in his hand. The rumor spread quickly but quietly. By the time dawn broke, unmarked black SUVs had been seen arriving at the warehouse. Men in dark suits and polished shoes moved inside with a sense of authority that suggested they were not from the local precinct. Witnesses from nearby dockside bars reported seeing them carry out several sealed evidence boxes. The body, wrapped in a plain sheet, was loaded into a vehicle without any of the usual procedures that accompanied a death investigation. Later that morning, when the patrol officer attempted to review his bodycam footage, the file was missing from the department's secure system. The official explanation claimed a technical error had corrupted the recording. Some officers found that convenient to convenient. No one dared to question it openly. In Ashford, questioning the wrong people had a way of ending careers. By midday, Senator Hensley's name began to surface in hushed tones among journalists and political staffers. The senator was a man whose influence extended far beyond state politics. Known for his relentless grip on power, he had a reputation for making inconvenient stories vanish before they reached the public. His network of loyal operatives ensured that sensitive matters remained buried, and this incident seemed to fit that pattern perfectly. Within 24 hours, the warehouse was boarded up and declared unsafe for entry. The case was marked as closed. No suspects, no further investigation, no lingering questions in the official narrative. But for those who had seen glimpses of the truth, the memory of that night and the missing footage was impossible to erase. Something had happened inside that building, and someone with power was making sure the world never found out. Weeks slipped by with no public mention of the warehouse incident. as though the entire night had been erased from the town's collective memory. Local newspapers received carefully worded statements that offered nothing new, while radio hosts avoided the subject altogether. But inside the cramped newsroom of an independent online outlet, an anonymous envelope appeared one rainy morning. Inside was a flash drive containing a single video file. The footage was grainy, but the timestamp matched the night of the warehouse call. The clip lasted just over 20 seconds. It began with the patrol officer kneeling beside the victim, the beam of his flashlight trembling slightly as it illuminated the man's face, blurred in the leaked version but still visible enough to show a campaign jacket with the embroidered logo of Senator Hensley's re-election team. Behind the officer, a faint movement caught the edge of the frame. The figure was tall, broad-shouldered, and dressed in a tailored suit that looked out of place in the decaying warehouse. The man's posture was deliberate, almost casual, as if he belonged there. Before the camera could shift toward him, the clip ended abruptly, cutting to black. When the short video was released, rumors spread quickly in town. People wondered about the man in the suit. Was it Senator Hensley or someone close to him? The local police wouldn't comment, saying the clip was unauthorized and incomplete, but the internet didn't buy it. Within hours, the footage was broken down frame by frame on social media, and people compared the man's outline to photos of Hensley. Pressure started to build. Activists demanded the full recording, saying the public had a right to see it. Police claimed the original bodycam footage was damaged beyond repair, which seemed suspicious, since a short clip had already leaked. Journalists from outside Ashford came to investigate, sure there was more to the story. In politics, the leak caused panic. If just 20 seconds could cause so many questions, the full video could be devastating. Calls were made in secret, and favors were traded to keep it hidden. But the harder they tried to bury it, the more attention it got. The warehouse incident had gone from a local rumor to a national story. Public pressure kept growing. Every day new articles questioned why the footage was still hidden. Activists held rallies at the state capitol with signs demanding justice. Independent investigators filed requests for the full recording. Senator Hensley's office pushed back, calling the rumors reckless conspiracy theories, but this only made people more suspicious. Behind the scenes, the fight to keep the footage sealed intensified. Lobbyists tied to Hensley pushed new laws to limit public access to police videos. Critics said the timing was too perfect to be a coincidence. Court battles dragged on. Some legal insiders whispered that Hensley wasn't just worried about bad publicity. There was something in the video that could destroy his career. Sources claimed the unseen part of the video showed the man in the suit handing the officer a black briefcase before the victim died. Some thought it was a bribe. Others said it held incriminating documents or dangerous evidence. The warehouse became a symbol of secrecy, guarded at night by strange security. National media began running stories about the bodycam the senator didn't want you to see. Finally, after months of legal fights, a judge ordered the release of the full footage. Millions watched online. At first, it matched the leaked clip: an officer entering the warehouse, light shining on a man on the floor. Then, the suited man stepped into view. It was clearly Senator Clark Hensley. Calmly, he opened a black leather briefcase filled with cash, an envelope, and several photographs. He gave the envelope and photos to the victim, whispering phrases like "last warning" and "too dangerous." The victim tried to move, but his breathing slowed. As Hensley stood, a small glass vial fell from his pocket. The label showed a chemical name most people didn't recognize. The officer stood frozen. No one called for help. The camera captured the victim's final breath. Hensley walked away into the shadows. The officer turned off his flashlight, and the video ended. The reaction was explosive. Social media demanded Hensley resign. Days later, he stepped down, citing personal reasons. The warehouse was demolished, but the image of that night, the money, the silence, and the death stayed in people's minds, a reminder of how far some will go to hide the truth.